we can, okay? And help each other. This is supposed to be a fun thing, right? Why we just get back to the community. Alright. Let's take the rune page. Yeah, this is complete copy. Perfect. Also movement speed. I kind of like the scaling health and tenacity more than the movement speed, but this is not bad at all either. You're waiting to collect the next chime here? To what? So you have the movement speed for your third chime as well? Not a bad player, would I appreciate. I can do it with anyone who's support. I coach any support. It does not have to be bad gameplay, fellas. Is health based on level good? Yeah, scaling health is awesome. It's attack speed, scaling health, tenacity, slow resistance. That's what I go. But you can go attack speed, scaling health as well. That's completely fine. Or attack speed, movement speed, scaling health. That's also super fine. What about AD carry since same lane? I don't have experience on AD carry, so I'm not going to focus on that. This is a support stream, so I'm going to support content. The first mistake is how you up here, right? What you need to play in the brush. We need you to place yourself down here. Right here. If Sarah tried to retake this brush, put a ward in it, and then push him out up to this brush. Well, then he's forced to put a ward as well, and this becomes no man's land, right? But right now you have given all brush control, which minimizes how much space you and Varus have to play in, which makes it far easier for Sarah to hit his abilities on you, which makes this lane a lot harder than it's supposed to be. So that's the first step you need to instantly fix here, right? You can see how little space you guys have to play in, because he has all this control, because you're not using your wards. So this is the first big mistake we need to fix, right? Just like the other game. I'm gonna speed up to 2. We finally get the ward here. It's a bit late, right? Okay, so always be on a straight line with your AD carry. We can see a big mistake happening here when you're clicking down while he's clicking up, right? You have to instantly click up here as well. Then you just queue into 2 melee minions, which is obviously always bad. Try to always auto attack first. With how poorly you actually played this and you still win it, it really showcases. Because if we go over this again, right? You are very late to this play, but Xerath is also super late to this play. He has not auto-attacked a single time yet. Then he auto-attacks a minion, and then he Ws, and now he gets... This was his first auto-attack on the Varus this entire team fight. So even though you played it poorly, Xerath played it worse. So you got out of the... So you still got out with a win here. But it's very important that we make sure we always play on a straight line, and we react to what's happening. Breaking the freeze here is awesome. And then we look to reset. I would probably have gone down to this brush to reset, because it's very easy to cancel you here for Xerath. I consider this a bit of a greedy reset spot. I would do it down here. No punishment though. We get a ruby crystal. This wave is guaranteed to push into your Varus, so you don't have to open bot lane. You should instead open mid lane. This dude wants to crash this wave, and then potentially look to reset or try any type of fight. So you want to place yourself here, because this is a very likely something that can happen on map. Same thing goes up here, right? Since is crashing this, and he's gonna go proxy in the next wave. So there's guaranteed to be something happening up top side as well. So right now, you are both mid lane and top side, where there's nearly guaranteed action the next 40 seconds. While bot side is just gonna be pushed in under your turret, while Varus is just gonna hit the minions. And you're basically not gonna be able to make any difference down here. So you want to try to put yourself where there's guaranteed to be action to get the burst out of it. This is obviously only because the wave is guaranteed to push into your Varus that you can do this. here again, we ignore where our AD carry is and we completely break the line. So even though we hit a Q, awesome, we're gonna trade into 2v1. And we're guaranteed to lose that trade. And we see a fight happens in here. Your teammates luckily win it, but this is where you could have been. So whenever you reset or you die, try to make a scout out every wave state and figure out where is it most likely that something will happen in the next 60 seconds. And then try to place yourself down, okay? Hi, not Blink. Hi. Nice Q. Don't be greedy. So, just to go over this play here, right? Instead, you're looking to get an angle on this dude, right? I can see that. Instead, right? Go down, stand here, portal to here, and then just auto-attack Q, ignite him to death. Instead of having to use your flash. If he then flashes away, you can always use your flash to then follow. Instead of using your flash to basically to minimize the gap that is between you and him. Use the portal instead. Right now, people only use the Elko portal for safety, when it can also be used to actually get a better angle on them. Now, I try to, yeah, Poop Monster. I definitely try to explain my thought process, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. But obviously, it can be sometimes hard in the more super high ranked play games where I need to be fully focused. But I try always to. Mr. Poop Monster 485. And check the vision from Brett's side if that minion can spot that corner. It can't. As long as he's in the brush and there's no like up here, then if there's a red minion here, it won't see him down here. Poop Monster, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. And Toki Timon, thank you so much for the 7 months. You do get the kill up here, which is awesome. I'm just more in the sense that I think the other play is way safer. While you don't have to rely on him fucking up. Because that's what you do here, right? Because if he reacts to your flash, then you just trade flash for flash, which is not great, right? But he flashes after everything and then he dies. Then we look to push this, and then we reset. And we get Ruby. So, see, you make the same mistake here, right? The HP component always has more value than the armor component. So we would rather have Winged Moonplate and at a little armor thingy than this, okay? So, next little small micro mistake here. You're looking to ult this person, then he flashes it. If you instead use take the portal, then when you get close to this person, he's gonna look to EU or flash away. Because like, if you take the portal here, right, then you're here, then Vayne E's you, she will use E, you get pushed upwards. You're not gonna get stunned, right? Because of the angle there you are in. Then you're gonna run like this, and she's gonna look to run down or try to flash away. And then Xerath comes in, and you can either ult the Vayne or you can ult the Xerath and then just run down the Vayne. But when you use your tool to catch up to a person, like your ult, that they can then just flash away from, then your E is redundant afterwards. Always use your E first. Okay? HP is better than armor early game. Armor is better than HP late game because you have a higher base HP. Armor makes your HP more valuable, but if you don't have a lot of HP, then armor doesn't do a lot, right? Armor has more and more value the more and more HP you have. So, in the first 15 minutes when you're low level, armor has little value. When you're above 15 minutes when you're high level, armor has more value. But you don't just get 50 HP, you also get 4% movement speed. Do you think 4% movement speed is incredibly helpful when you move around the map and you especially have to dodge Xerath's abilities? It will give you more active HP because it allows you to dodge stuff. This wave is pushing into your Varus, The enemy bot lane has reset. So you staying bot side here makes no sense, right? Because you can't do anything. So you can see this, right? Here you're straight up F-go. You need to be on the map. Your Nocturne dies because you're not reacting fast enough. You don't need to be bot side, so you need to be able to move elsewhere, right? Don't push this. This is a... So, let's just look at this, right? If we take a look at this, right? What direction is this minion wave pushing to? Is this minion wave pushing into Vayne, or is this minion wave pushing into Varus and Bard? I'm not gonna answer. I'm waiting for you guys to answer. Come on, I know you are into Varus and Bard. Yes. It's pushing into Varus and Bard because Vayne unfortunately auto-attacked the blue minion wave a few times. So this blue minion is already dead. So it's pushing into Vayne and Bard because of that. So, what does Varus and Bard want to do? They want to position themselves here in front of the ranged minions so Vayne can't enter the lane, so we can deny gold and experience this way. So the wrong play here is to just run in and hit the minion waves like a dum-dum. We instead run in and we place ourselves up here to push Vayne forward, away. But instead we just push it. Nice little Q. Crash the wave and then look to reset. Good. Portal. Okay. Vayne is getting fisted. Good job. Very good job. Focus on crashing this wave instead of looking for plays, because the faster you crash it, the more you deny the Vayne. Which is your main purpose here, right? When you kill an enemy champion, is that great because you get gold, or is it great because you deny them gold and experience? Hint, it's the other part. It's not. We don't care about the gold we get. That's why we don't care about who gets the kill. We care about what they lose when they are dead during the death timer. This is a different elo costume, so it's a different focus point. The last student was gold. This student is plat. So we are now focusing on other things because we are not making the exact same mistakes. If we coach every person the same way, then only 1 out of 10 players will actually get anything out of that help. We have to help people and cater the students towards what bracket they are in, because they already understand a certain amount of things and we need to pile on top of that. If we pile the wrong things on, it's not helpful, it's instead negative. Right? Master Kasti. We talked about this last game as well. You can see how this player is overall moving a lot more around the map compared to the other bard player as well. So there is a lot more understanding on what is needed and what is not needed. It does not have to be bard, guys. I coach support, not bard. I do know I'm the bard guy, but it does not have to be bard games. Don't ever do this. This is what we call a lazy man's portal. The cooldown on this ability is way too long for you to portal like this because you wanted a chime down here instead of just walking around and then collecting the chime. Don't ever do that, okay? The ability is way too important. Especially, like, consider right now, right? You don't have any portal. You're pushed up here. You don't have a ward here. You don't have a ward here. What are you gonna do if Kha'Zix stands right here, right now, comes behind you, and you have no portal? Then not so good, right? Don't do lazy man portals. This is why I'll get out the whip. This is great. He just wasted his E and his W. Instantly portal to then retaliate. Auto attack. Then Q here. The Q gets dodged, unfortunately. So, just to go over how I would do this, right? I would do E. And then I would auto attack. Then I would ult the tower and the Vayne. And then I would just run down the Xerath. The Xerath would likely then use Flash or Exhaust. And then we just stop the play from there. People generally don't ping too much in these games. It does not matter, because we are ulting both the tower and the Vayne. So it does not matter if Varus is able to follow up on it. You alone, if you connect your abilities, can kill the Xerath since you have Deadman's Plate. So it legitimately won't even matter if Varus can follow up on it, since you're basically isolating you and Xerath in a 1v1, since you're removing Vayne from the equation as well. Suffer. You need to run upwards here. So when you were standing here, you need to continue to run upwards. Now you're likely just gonna get run down by Vayne. Okay. Yeah, you're still dead. Small micro mistakes. I actually like how you're playing the map a lot more. This wave is guaranteed to push into the Varus, so you don't have to run bot lane. Instead, you open through mid lane and top side. I see. So we still have a bit of work to do here, right? I would always build Deadman's Plate, right? So if we look at this game, right? Deadman's Plate is awesome. I would do... Well, actually, first, before I answer, what would you be building here? And then we go from there, so I don't just give the answer. What would you guys say is the correct build when you look at the enemy team? Order matters a lot here. What boots is good? Isn't Frozen Heart good here? It is! Frozen Heart is awesome. Your bottom part, your zero idea. That's completely fair. Okay, so the way I would do this, right, is I would be building DMP, right, Deadman's Plate. Then I would be building Mercs. Well, Mercs. Then Frozen Heart. Then Koenig. And then Liandry's. So this is what I would be itemizing. Happy partnerversary. How can it still be my partnerversary when it was my partnerversary 2 days ago? Thank you so much, though. Thanks for the well wishes. So this is the exact order as well. Deadman's Plate, Mercs, Frozen Heart, Koenig, Liandry's. Anyone curious why we're doing this, or do you all completely understand it? Like, you guys were wishing me a happy partnerversary Monday as well. Why the entries? At this point, we are building the entries last, right? That's your 6th item, right? What level are people generally here if you get to the 6th item? Between level 16 and 18, right? Between 16 and 18. So, majority of people are gonna be at 3000 HP at this point, right? Just because of base HP and such. Which means the entries burn, no matter if they're building tank or not, has a ton of value. So that's why. Shurelius is a horrible item. Shurelius is the movement speed AP item. That's horrible. Why would you ever build that? Why would you ever build basically an enchant item on bot? What do you think of Cosmic instead? Cosmic only makes sense if you are the engage while you value ability haste. At this point in the game, you already get 20 haste from Frozen Heart, and you're not this engaged in your team. You're engaged right now. You have Singe running in, you have Nocturne ulting in, you have Varus ult, and you have Bard ult, right? So you have 4 different people able to instigate a team fight. Cosmic Drive is only if you're the only one that that can instigate a fight, where you want 25 haste on one item. They have gap closers though, both teams. So what? What does gap closing matter if you can just tank it all? Shurelius is one of the worst items on Bard, which is also why it has one of the lowest win rates on Bard, because it doesn't offer a single stat that is good for Bard. What stats are good for Bard? What stats does Bard prefer the most? Like, this is Shurelius' stat line. Does Bard like ability power, guys? Does Bard benefit from ability power? No. Does Bard benefit from mana regeneration? No, why would you... So, you're not in danger of cannon. Frozen... Hourglass is for reset champions. Viego, Master E, such like that, right? You were joking, but like, people can't see if you... So... You need to stop that, Kosti, okay? We are here to teach as much as possible. We are not here to be joking around. When you're writing, I think it's OP for Bard low-key, or I'll ditch the Liandry's and get Shurelius, or how you spelled it. Then we don't know you're joking. So we're gonna act like you're truthful with it, so we're gonna correct you when you're saying something wrong, because we're here to teach you about the game. That's the case, right? I know it's kind of like, but like, it's a stream, it's supposed to be fun, and I don't want it to be boring. But what you're doing is not helpful. Right? You said it's you said OP for Liandry. You didn't. You said I think it's OP for Bard low key. Right after you wrote I would ditch Liandry's and get Shurelius. So context when you're writing this means that you think Shurelius is OP for Bard, since that was the last item you talked about. Why Mercs instead of Steel Caps? Because they only have 2 champions auto-attacking. The Vayne and Aurelia. And the Vayne's damage output is from W, which is true damage, right? So, which is not lowered by Steel Caps because it's true damage. Instead here we have stun, 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 and a bit of a conditional stun here, right? So I'm not gonna give it a full stun. You didn't reply to the Liandry's message, sadly. But like, again, it's completely okay, Kosti, but try to minimize the memeing here because we're trying to be as educational as possible. Not saying it's not okay to meme, but it does disrupt it a bit when I think you're meaning something and then I have to teach you about something and then you're like, oh, actually, I was just joking, right? Just take that in mind. Okay. So that's why Mercs is better than Tapis, because Tapis barely do anything against the enemy team. Because Tapis doesn't do anything against Kha'Zix because it's pure Q damage, right? Again with the Lazy Man's Portal. What about Mikael for Sarah's stun? Mikael's is only good when we trade long cooldown for long cooldown, right? Let's say Varus was over on this team and Vayne was over on this team. We go Mikael to counter the Varus ult because we trade a long cooldown for long cooldown. If we go Mikael's to counter a 10-second cooldown, while our cooldown to dodge it is 120 seconds, is really bad, right? It's a long cooldown trade-off for a short cooldown. Not good. We do it for Assault. We do it for Varus ult. These like, where it's abilities that are fishing, but they are fishing with with high cooldowns. Mikael's for a short cooldown is generally not good. If a teammate is smurfing and you want to defend them as much as possible, build Knight's Vow. It's 10 times better. Against Leona is good Mikael's? No? No. She has too many stuns. If she hits the E on you or anything else, she's already on you and Mikael's won't get you off. Go Knight's Vow if you want to truthfully defend a person. It will do way more. It's the same if you're building Locket for one person, go Knight's Vow instead. Knight's Vow is such an OP item that is incredibly undervalued. It's rarely ever built. Do my kills works against Melta? No. Only QSS works against Malzahar. Mikhail's does not work against suppressions. So Mikhail's does not work against Malzahar or Skarner. I don't know if there's anyone else, but it doesn't work against suppressions. Warwick. Or Mordalt. Mordalt is just because you also can click on him, right? But yeah, Warwick as well. Also suppression. I don't even think you can QSS Mordalt, by the way. I don't think I don't think you can remove yourself from Mordalt. I only think you can spell shield it or unstoppable it. I don't think you can QSS anything Mordalt. Set alt. Yeah. So if we look at the game here, right? How much do we think the Plat has been doing the last, well, 1 minute? Since he spawned here, right? Let's just look at Plat on the map here. We're just looking at the map here. Has Bart really done anything on the map? Where do we see him place any wards? Do we see him push anything up? Do we see him do anything really? Because this is a big issue even in this elo bracket as well. This is Plat right now. He went here, 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 here. But if we look at his inventory, he still has 4 wards not used at all. So he's been on the map for 60, 70, 80 seconds now without warding a single time. We went bot side, but Aurelia was already dead. We want to siege a mid lane tower, top lane tower, and there's a herald on the map as well. We need to put a ward here, and then consider a ward up here as well. So we have these 3 wards on the map. Once again, this helps us siege this tower, and the river is defended so we can siege the herald as well. And we are pushing minion waves to be able to do this. So it's really easy for us to do it. But if we don't put this vision, it becomes basically impossible for us to go up and hitting towers or do anything else in the map, which means the game is slowing down a ton. So even though we have an early goal lead, we are not able to push that lead forward. Yeah, set is fucking bullshit. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, I cannot say, I have not been taught. S and Z in Danish is the same fucking letter, okay? It's the same S sound, okay? I do generally apologize. I know it's so stupid, but our education system has taught us that it's the same fucking letter, okay? We have been taught that it's an S sound. That's it. Boom. Because Z is not in our fucking vocabulary in Danish at all, okay? It's not my bad. Sorry. I hate it. I hate that there's 2 champions with the same name. But like, I blame school here, okay? I blame school. It's the same letter. It is. But right. This was Asquentix. This was you, right? That we are coaching here. The biggest points that you need to work on, just like the other person, is actually your warding. Again, I think your micro is completely fine. Sure, we make a few mistakes here and there. We all make mistakes. Sure, sometimes we go bot lane when we don't have to go bot lane, but we see a significant amount of knowledge about that you can move around when Varus doesn't need you compared to the other game, right? The biggest mistake you're doing is you're not using your wards. You legitimately, you've been on the map since 15 minutes into the game, from 15 to 16, and you're placed 1 ward. We have 1 ward on the map. We don't have control wards, and we're not placing our normal wards. So it's so dark, so it's so hard to push up these towers that we need to push up. So it's hard to get a lead. I don't actually care that you miss ult. I don't care that you miss your Qs. These things happen in every single elo that people miss their abilities. But normally you can't say I miss my wards. You're just not using them at all. So it's an instant gratification of you improving. That you can instantly just improve significantly by understanding where you and your team needs these wards and how often you need to place them. right? All the other things are so mini. I don't care if you're missing your Q. Like, if we want to sit and talk about when we need to be perfect, right? The normal goalpost I always give Bard players is that they need to collect 2 times a minute, they need to sit at minimum 60% KP, and they need to sit at 700 damage a minute. But to get to these points, we first need to understand how to ward. We need to understand how to position. All of these things, right? So before we get to the point where we're like, well, your Q was bad or your ult was bad and all of these things, we have to build up to the point where that actually matters. In right now, those things are never going to be the things that are holding you back. It's the other things, right? It's the warding. It's where you are on the map, right? Does that make sense as Quentix? Lazy man's portal. Well, the thing is, we are playing support and we are playing Bard. Both of those things are macro intensive, not so much micro intensive. We can legitimately, all of us, like I'm saying myself as well, we can all hit the minimum of master elo while being shit at micro. All we need to understand is macro, and we can inflate ourselves up to master minimum because we're playing a macro intensive role, not a micro intensive, but a macro intensive. If we understand what to ward, we understand why we are supposed to be on the map at the right times, we're gonna win majority of our games to a point up to the Apex tiers. Really? Yes. Like, Bard is one of the harder micro champions, but even Bard is not that hard. The reason Bard is a bit harder is because his auto spacing is a bit more important than other champions, because a lot of his value comes from his auto attacks. I think VODs of games where we feel lost are the best spots to go over. What is this Star Trek? Is it a game? Yeah, it's a sponsor, Bendate. It's a sponsor where I get $10 for every single person that download and install the game, and then even more money if people play it. But yeah, let's continue. I don't mind you crashing this, by the way. Okay, so I know I talked about, I don't care about your ult or anything, right? I'm gonna just give you a trick here. Since you are willing to use your flash, as we just saw, right? I'm gonna give you a trick here. You see here, right? If you're willing to flash, center this ult on you and Aurelia, and then you flash out of it. Instead of placing it up here, where you're basically only gonna aim for the Vayne. Because since you're looking to center it and then flashing, you're gonna be down here after the flash while Vayne is still up here. So there's so much space between you two, and then you can just run down and portal away. Great stun, by the way. Awesome stun. And that's what I mean, right? Like, your micro is completely fine. It's never gonna be like, well, you're Plat because of your micro. Again, here, we are Plat purely because of our macro. All of you, the people that I've coached so far, you're far better at micro than you are at macro. Which means it's so much easier for you guys to improve. Because it's so much easier to improve macro than it is to improve micro. Because macro is just dependent on you thinking about the game. You need to focus on the game. While micro is actually clicking and timing things correctly, which can be far harder to actually get better at. Like, our entire team is running towards Dragon to set up this. And to so we need to go towards Dragon and Ward. But where are we going? We're going topside. We're completely flipping a lot of things, right? Like, are we a solo laner now? Like, why did we do that? Might be. Luckily, your teammates are carrying it, right? Teammates get a kill on Aurelia. Your teammates got the dragon. Your teammates get the tower. Your teammates are smurfing it. You, as a support, us as a support, we live to enable our teammates as much as possible. That means that we shouldn't be selfish about the game, right? He wins 1v1 Loki, he doesn't. He barely, like... I'm sorry, but like, he never wins this 1v1. Right now, Kennen runs away because he's expecting someone else to follow up on it. Kennen has ult. I want you to see how much Bart overdies with here. He got hit by one Xerath ult. Look at how late the Kennen starts the ult here. This Kennen has another 400-500 damage in the kit here that he does not spend. Because the ult doesn't fully finish and he still has Q up. Bart never wins this. Because Bart is full armor. Kennen won't be in the team fight whether you go topside or not. You should be using this time to get vision down here to siege these towers. Like, it does not matter if Kennen is not down here. What are you gonna do if you run topside and then Kennen TP's down to the fight because he has TP and you don't have TP? Then you're gonna be topside, Kennen is down here, and now you're suddenly gonna lose the fight big time because you made an assumption, which is not good to do, right? We don't play the game off of assumptions, we play the game off of facts and making the most logical decision, right? I need a new glass of something to drink before we jump into the next bot here, by the way. Of course, I'm gonna review this first, though. Another lazy man's bottle. And we can see here, itemization is completely wrong, right? Like, we did Deadman's Blade, which we agreed on. Then this should be Mercs, this should be Frozen Heart, and then the next one should be Koenig. Ward over here. So we are sieging mid lane while tier 2 and tier 2 is alive. So this is a big mistake, right? Instead, we should have 4 people top and 1 person bot lane. Or 4 people bot lane and 1 person top lane, right? That really don't care where you guys go. But you should be in a 4-1 position right now to siege the 2 tier 2 turrets. That means you have to have vision here and vision here. A-ramming like this is not good. It's way too easy for them to just wave clear and then re-engage on your ult. Which is exactly what ends up happening here, right? You see this? This is because you're A-ramming. What to do if my team want then? Well, body language matters here. Body language matters a lot. If you go mid lane, like if we look at this, right? You say your teammate doesn't want to go sides. If we go and look at this point, right? 20 minutes into the game. Varus just cleared mid lane and is now clicking down. Your Nocturne on side, your Singe is on side, and the Katarina is gonna come and go on the side as well. You see this, right? But because you now lead the way, you are leading the way, you're clicking mid lane. You're the one who is instigating the NA run, not your teammates. At no point in the game have you pinged the side lanes, and you're the one who's leading the way towards mid lane here. It definitely can, Kiefer, if you can hit level 25. So, I'm inclined to say that what you're saying is not true, right? As Quentix. There's 2 communication tools in this game. There's body language, that's 50%, and there's pinging, that's the other 50%. Since you're not pinging at all, they can only go off of your over your body language. Your body language is telling them we go mid lane. There's nothing to get mid lane, Kosti. You should never be sieging this because it's way too easy to defend when they don't have these 2 towers pushed in. Right? When there's nothing pushed here, this is always too easy to defend. If we go 1, 2, 2, 1 or whatever you're suggesting here, the way that they can go from one lane to the other is 10 times faster than it is for you. So you always push you go from tier 1 to tier 2 to tier 2 to tier 3 to tier 3. You don't try to skip any steps unless you have a split pusher who's incredibly fucking strong. You should never make assumptions. I just taught you that. We never make assumptions. We always assume people are gonna play the game correctly off of the logic that the game is stating. Making assumptions is making bad habits. Making bad habits is making us worse at the game, or making us at least stuck at the game. We have to play the game from a correct sense, okay? So, since we now know that we want to siege this tower and this tower, we want to have vision in this area and in this area. So we want to have one ward down here, and then we can place one ward here. The reason we want a ward in this area is because it's a crossroad, which means after they push this out, they're gonna then rotate either towards the base, towards bot lane, or towards top lane, or they're gonna continuously push. All of that will be informed by one ward, and then you have the next ward in the brush up here, right? So you have ward here, and a ward down here. Now you can freely siege this, you can freely siege this, without getting flanked, without getting suddenly surprised that someone is coming. The only things you should be focusing on is the things you yourself can control. If you make assumptions about how your teammates play, or you get annoyed by how your teammates play, or anything else, you're taking your focus away from things you actually can control, and that only will lead to tilt and annoyance. We need to strictly focus on things that is within our own control. And that comes down to this, that we ward correctly, that we position ourselves correctly. If we then can sit and say, I actually did everything correctly. I had the right wards. I were the right place. I pinged correctly. I did everything correctly, but nothing of this happened. Then it just leads down to the rabbit hole that is the 30-30-40 rule. 30-30-40 rule, right, is that 30% of the games you play, no matter what you do, you win. 30% of the games, no matter what you do, you lose. And 40% of the games rely on your own performance. That's just the gist of a team game. You cannot win every single game unless you're playing in a rank that is way worse than the rank you are yourself. This is assuming that we are playing in an elo where we deserve to be in, right? And the fun thing is, just like the gold game we just coached, now this is a plat game, they're making the exact same, like this player played laning phase a lot better, understood when he had a roam timer a lot better than the other person, but he's still equally as bad as warding, and he's equally as bad at closing out a game when he has an early goal lead. Both games started with them winning the game, and then they lost it during mid game, and they completely lost it during late game, because they were not able to actually close out the game and push their lead, because they're not able to ward when they need to ward, so they're not continuously able to get a lot of gold. You're learning a lot, thank you, of course. This is me giving back to the community after you guys have been giving me so much support over the last few years, right? I will be doing this until Wednesday next week, when the rank ladder resets and there's reason for me to start playing again. Until then, I might as well give back to you guys and try to teach you as much about the game as possible, right? And if anyone has questions, either the person which game we're looking at or anyone else, like, wait, you said this and this and this, why is that? Or you have questions about anything else, just ask. This is completely a learning moment. There's no such thing as bad questions or anything. I'm a lurk in Pip while staying. Pip? I don't know what that is. Are you teaching about the little fish? Sadly, I am not a fish player. I'm not a mid laner or jungler Mihao. Sorry. And he's a fish enthusiast ranger god. He loves fish. Picture in picture. Oh! Sick! Didn't play for the last 4 weeks. I can't even watch my VODs. That sucks. Hello, Ollie. Right. And we keep making the same mistake. Pip is OP to dodge the ads. That's awesome. I actually didn't know that. Ollie, thank you so much for the 18 months. Thank you so much. And Yahil, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for supporting the stream, Ollie. They don't just run... why they just run down mid instead of just pushing? It's the things that I've been explaining the last few minutes, right? Sometimes people don't think in the moment of the game. It's really easy to sit and evaluate it in the VOD afterwards, but right now, the way they have to play is push out mid lane to this point where it is right now. Then you go to side lanes and you push up side lanes and you have vision to then try to take the tier 2 turrets. If they then try to flank on your vision, you punish the flank on the vision, you kill them, and then you go for Baron where you have numbers advantage, right? Like, realistically put, the game is that simple, right? Like, the game is as simple as that. That all you need to do is play around the vision, you punish them when they walk over vision, you kill them, you take objective, you use the objective to then push the lead further and further and further, right? But oftentimes, people don't think about the strategic point in the game right in the moment, because the game goes a lot faster while you're in the game than when you're evaluating, reviewing the game. When you review the game, it's super slow. It's super easy to see what you're supposed to do, but that doesn't happen in the game, right? And you can see how side lanes are completely ignored. The main point that the bard player, as Quintex, is supposed to learn from this is that he needs to start using his pings a lot more. He needs to ping, push this up here, push this down here. He needs to ping, need vision here, so his teammates understand that he needs help to push up to get vision. All of these things need to be understood from Quintex, so he knows what he's supposed to be doing. Because as long as he's not doing these things, then he's part of the problem, right? Then we can start, after we fix the pings and wards, right? We can start focusing on the perfect itemization. Because obviously this is not correct. This is not bad. And in any way, this is not a bad build. It's just not perfect, right? Because Pipe doesn't really... Sure, you have champions that are relying on attack speed. It's not too bad. Sure, they have champions that auto-attacks at top is not too bad. But it's not optimized, right? It's not min-maxed. But min-maxing doesn't matter when we are still in a point where we have so many other things to focus and fix. But the main takeaway here is that we are just constantly going mid lane. We're constantly dying because we're going mid lane. And then we lose the game because of it. And that's also not bad, Ring to God, if you can make sure that your teammates don't get caught while you're on the side lane, right? But yeah, from this point on, like from around the, I don't know, the 20-minute mark and onwards, there's not so much to talk about from my side, because there's a million mistakes, but the exact same mistake that's just happening over and over and over again, right? We are playing the game the exact same way, and we're expecting a different outcome for every single fight, right? Which is the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different outcome. And again, it's awesome stunt, right? Awesome Q you do here. Like, micro-wise, when you are put in the situation where you need to hit your abilities or time stuff, it's correct, right? It's done completely awesome. Like, there's nothing bad to talk about there. It's just, it's the macro decision. It's where am I supposed to be on the ward, on the map? Where am I supposed to be warding? My pinging, my positioning in these, where I'm supposed to be, right? Like, this is where it's all lacking. And we are so passive. Nothing happens on the map. It's just kill mid lane wave into walk around until the next mid lane wave comes, and then we kill that, and then we walk around, right? I legitimately think it's just the same thing over and over until you lose the game from this point onwards. Koenig Rukon is completely correct, by the way. Awesome purchase. Pipe should have been Frozen Heart. Tapi should have been Mercs. In order to make plays happen, we need to have proper vision. Exactly. If we don't have proper vision, we can't punish. It all comes down to him just not pinging and not putting wards. I want to see one more team fight. So I'm just gonna speed it up to the team fight. To see if there's any small micro things that we can talk about as Quintex. I don't want to... I want to put as much focus... we have already invested the first 30 minutes, right? What's the vision score? 41 in a 31-minute game. So way too low, right? Like, realistically put, that should be 100. Alright, let's just look at this. Is this just Sarathald? Like, there's no vision again on the sides, right? And this dude just gets run down now. We don't Bard ult anything. Normally you would look to Bard ult the Vayne there or the Xerath in this team fight. Yeah. And then they just siege. Like, it's not like enemy team played it better, by the way. They are doing the exact same thing. It's just easier for them to defend against an ARAM than it is for them to do an ARAM themselves, right? They defended against an ARAM, used the numbers advantage to then just run you down mid lane and then win the game. Macro-wise, they did not play the game better. It was just so much easier for them to play the game. Many of their viewers say support is the easiest role and support are all bad. Further research via donations to the high-ranked streamers is our support brethren are not learning macro. At least the two people we have went over so far, right? They are getting to the elo they're getting to because of their micro, not because of their macro. I would actually argue support is the easiest role to climb with because it only is reliant on macro. It's barely reliant on micro. So it's incredibly easy to inflate you up to a level where you can play support to a high level because you understand what's supposed to be happening on the map. But if you were placed on an AD carry mid or top lane role, you're gonna fall short because you're mechanically not very gifted, right? Because you have not been practicing these things, including CSing. So I get why that is the case, but everything has their own skill level, right? Well, Master Plus support is super inflated because support has the highest impact on the game, which means that they get to control the game the most, including jungle, right? Like jungle and support has the highest impact on the game, which makes them inflated because they get to control the game the most. There we go. All right.